CBS News Bay Area.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Makovic, and here's a look at some of today's top stories. Starting on Friday, San Francisco will no longer require proof of vaccination or negative tests to enter restaurants, bars, or gyms. The Department of Public Health says that this is because cases and hospitalizations in the city continue to decline. Individual businesses can still choose to keep requirements in place for both staff and clients. Proof of vaccination or a negative test will still be required to enter indoor mega events with 1,000 people or more. San Francisco Mayor London Breed gave her State of the City address. She spoke in front of a major construction project in the Mission Bay neighborhood and highlighted the city's resilience during the pandemic, celebrating frontline workers. She also discussed the spike in crime, saying San Francisco police are facing a staffing crisis, and she made it clear that affordable housing will be a priority going forward. A plan to house the homeless at Berkeley's People's Park. There is a new agreement now between the city, UC Berkeley, and local nonprofits to offer temporary housing at the Roadway Inn. The Roadway Inn is opening up 42 rooms, each with a kitchenette, bathroom, and access to laundry services. Local nonprofit Abode Services will also help with daily meal service, healthcare, and transportation. The project uses a $4.7 million grant from California's Encampment Resolution Fund. Time now to get a quick check on your first alert weather forecast. Here is meteorologist Darren Peck.
It's going to be a nice day out there today, Ann, but breezy. The wind picks up this afternoon and then gets a little stronger in the overnight hours. But first, daytime highs are pretty nice. Mid to upper 60s, a little cooler than yesterday. So we've started to transition a bit. So the temperatures have come down just a few degrees, and you can see the wind pick up today as we go through the afternoon, really peaking once we get through that 5-6 o'clock hour, where we'll see perhaps 35-mile-an-hour gusts. City and the peninsula certainly up along the coast. And then as we get into the overnight hours tonight, the wind's going to reverse and pick up in intensity in the North Bay Mountains and the East Bay Hills, where we will see gusts to near 50. And then by the afternoon on Thursday, it gets breezy again down at the lower elevations where we all live, although not as strong as the mountains, and then it calms down after that as we get through the evening. So there's a wind advisory to go along with all this, but it's very targeted. The wind advisory is specifically out for the mountains and in the morning, where we could see those 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So East Bay Hills included in this, and North Bay Mountains. Those would be the two primary areas where we'd likely see some of those strongest gusts. And then by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, things are going to quiet down. The wind calms down, temperatures warm up a little. Sunday, we see a system come in just a little too far north to give us a meaningful shot of rain. But by Tuesday of next week, let's come in for a closer look and watch that again. Here's that first system. That's the Saturday night into Sunday. Don't count on much noticeable from that. We might get a little bit of snow in the Sierra from it. Here comes the next one. Did you see how fast that went by? For Monday and Tuesday, let's put some rainfall totals on here. We pick up perhaps a few hundredths of an inch of rain on Sunday if we're lucky. And then on the Monday-Tuesday system, maybe again another couple hundredths of an inch of rain. It doesn't look like a real significant soaker by any means, but it is at least rain in the forecast at this point for Monday and Tuesday. We'll see if we can keep it that way, but for right now, it's nice to see we've got at least a chance for a few light showers on Monday and Tuesday. You see the same playing out in our microclimates there across the rest of the 7-day forecast. All right, Ann, back to you.
All right, we're going to keep our hopes hung on that rain possibility. Thanks, Darren. The Oakland chef and 49ers fan who was badly beaten after the NFC Championship game is out of a coma. KPIX 5's Jocelyn Moran joins us in the newsroom. Jocelyn, you have some brand new video of Daniel Luna.
Yeah, and we actually do of him as he recovers. Now, we spoke with one of Luna's friends today, and he made the point that Luna is very much on the road to recovery, but that he has a long way to go. Here's video of him shooting a basketball. You can see someone behind him helping him as he does so. Now, Luna was badly hurt in January after a confrontation at SoFi Stadium before the NFC Championship game. With images of the incident, Inglewood's mayor said investigators determined Luna Luna was mingling with a group of mostly Niners fans when he allegedly shoved a man wearing a Rams jersey from behind. The mayor said there were shoves and punches, but Luna was found seriously injured by stadium security workers lying unconscious in the parking lot. Authorities booked 33-year-old Brian Alexis Cifuentes Rosell for felony assault. He was released on bail. The LA District Attorney's Office says the case remains under review. Luna's friend Sam Singer says he would dine in at Luna's restaurant often, and Luna said to him this morning that he wants to make him his favorite dish again.
He's able to walk a bit. He's certainly able to talk. He tires very easily. And again, he's nowhere near being 100%, but at least he's alive and he's functioning at a higher level than being in a coma.
Now, Sam says Luna is going to need some help, but he wants to reopen his restaurant Mistura in Oakland in the next week or two. He says at some point he's sure Luna and his family would like to speak with the media and the public, so we'll continue to try to follow his recovery. For now, in the newsroom, I'm Jocelyn Moran, KPIX 5.
Jocelyn, thank you. A clerk shot dead during an attempted robbery in Benicia. Police say the suspect is still out there. KPIX 5's Justin Andrews has more from Benicia.
Right now, there's an aggressive search for the suspect who fled this scene late last night. You see the sign right there. It says closed until further notice. And police chief calling this a senseless act of violence. And we're seeing flowers for the owner here. Heartbreaking cries and crime tape outside of Rose Market on Columbus Parkway in Benicia. Police investigators collecting evidence late Tuesday night around 10:04 p.m.
Our officers responded 2 minutes later, and when they got there, they found the clerk inside, unresponsive, suffering from a gunshot wound.
Police were able to respond after an alarm sounded at the store. Paramedics pronounced the store owner dead on scene. Wednesday morning, flowers were outside of the now closed store as business owners in the same plaza of this deadly shooting are shocked.
Wow, just wow.
Leo Powell owns Daily Donuts and says the victim owns this plaza. He allowed him to open up his donut shop.
He gave us a chance, gave us the time to get the money together and all the stuff and open up the shop.
He says the victim has been around for about 15 years and would do anything to help anyone. Surveillance video from next door appears to show the suspect running off. Police say the suspect got off with some cash before they got here.
Things happen, and there's nothing you can really do about it, but just try to protect yourself and be aware of things.
As you can see, there are cameras outside this convenience store. Police are analyzing that video to see if they can nail down the suspect in this. As for the victim, police are not releasing his name, but a lot of people knew him. In Benicia, Justin Andrews, KPIX 5.
A Bay Area tech company says an employee and her 2 kids were killed in Ukraine. SE Ranking in Palo Alto says Tatiana Perbinyas was killed while trying to evacuate from a small town near Kyiv. The company says its hearts are broken, but it's important to remember the victims, not just as statistics. Well, this Friday marks 2 years since the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. Over 960,000 Americans have died from the virus over the last 2 years, with over 79 million reported cases. Here in California, just over 86,000 people have died of COVID, and statewide, 74% of eligible residents are fully vaccinated. Now, Kaiser is sharing how we can fully adjust to COVID as a part of our everyday lives in the future.
At some periods of time, we're going to be at a low level, and hopefully the masks can come off. But at some other points in time, we may have higher levels, and then we got to put the masks back on. It's relatively predictable for us what to do with influenza, and I think that's kind of what we want to do with COVID-19.
Last month, California became the first state to formally shift to an endemic approach to COVID. Bay Area nurses are rallying for better contracts after 2 years of COVID. This rally happening earlier this morning at Stanford Hospital. Stanford and Packard nurses say the system needs to develop better contracts to prevent burnout and worker shortages.
We worked so much overtime during the first year of the pandemic, and now they're just asking us to work more and more. We're short nurses, and I sacrificed a lot of my personal life the first year of the pandemic because I was working extra, but there's only so much that my body can take.
Their contracts run out at the end of this month. KPIX reached out to Stanford about this protest. The hospital says it has offered proposals that increase their investment and that they are committed to good faith negotiations. San Francisco-based Lyft will now offer a permanent, fully flexible policy for employees that'll allow them to choose where to work and live. Almost all employees will be able to choose working from the office, home, or a combo of the two. Lyft is the latest company to respond to calls for a more accommodating stance. In December, the company reversed plans for employees to return to the office as the Omicron variant surged. They originally said employees could work from home through 2022. Jury selection began today in the trial of Sonny Balwani, the former business partner and ex-boyfriend of convicted Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes. Balwani is charged with criminal wire fraud and conspiracy against investors, doctors, and patients. The same counts brought against Holmes. Balwani served in different roles at Theranos from 2009 through 2016, including President and Chief Operating Officer. Opening statements are scheduled for March 15th. The trial expected to last up to 13 weeks. A new specialty clinic and pharmacy opening up in Mountain View. The clinic is the first collaboration with Planned Parenthood on a healthcare location. The partnership gives people easier access to primary and reproductive health care, as well as complementary services provided by the county. They welcome everyone, whether you have insurance or not. The pharmacy is now open, and specialty care clinic opens on Monday.